Let me get a banana cognac. Hey,
yeah, it's the truth. Parker Brothers. Nat Town. Yo,
let me get a banana cognac. Hey, oh my God, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes. My only advice, it don't matter if you're looking for keys or looking for price.
It's not a problem anymore. I'm trying to rob the city for at least 150. Now I'm riding to the core. Paranoid, the coppers knocking at my front door. Peeping out the window, watching with the Glock 44. Young Malcolm Little with a lot of weed in me. Got a plot for you snakes. Fakes against greed and be drain Henny till I'm sober again. Roll up a blunt and do it over again. I got some problems on my mind. A chip on my shoulder and a body on my nine. Trying to grind 100 million with a nickel and a dime. For every rhyme there's a riddle. In the middle every shine. Everybody carry nines. Let me run it down the line. I keep my mind on my money. Money in the safe. Before they run up in my place and flee the scene without a trace. Track a thing without the bass. I'm dying for a taste, so you know what time it is. Pump shot into your face. Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for style.
I just wanna run up in my spot, take what I got, put me in a pass when I was sleeping on the cot. If you make it past Athena and Zeus related rocks, I'ma get hot. Put the up the beam on your knot to get the shot for stretching the truth. Running game, Apex and 4-5, and like one and the same. Don't you know my fucking name? It's all in the door. Up the game, so that's in the fire, ready for war. Parker Brothers keep it raw. Raw's a geek, raw, and any faggot ass freestyle that you can spit. And official, if you ready to blast, put the Cali in my face, aim steady and fast, it ain't hard. Disregard all the drama you heard. Put the balls in your hand, pull the trigger, you nerd. Like I thought you were fake, nigga, trying to keep it real, but you missing your heart. It's all good, passion still. Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you're looking for keys or looking for Christ. Get on the one, take it 2 to the 3. If you ain't ready to ride, you ain't rolling with me. Lot on my mind, I'm swimming in stress. All these hate lines, give it a rest. Don't hate the next man for doing his thing, my nigga. The bottom line, we was born to be kings, my nigga. Throw up your hands if you're ready to ride. You can tell it's all real by the look in my eyes. Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my ready Metro D, Parker Brothers. The motherfucking truth. You know what I'm saying? It's the motherfucking truth, yeah. I'm nothing but the truth, so help me God, you know what I mean? Parker Brothers. Hey, get Metro D in here, just like that. Alright. Now, I was kind of, my voice is cracking, you know what I'm saying?
Let's do the back.
You know what it is? What's good, everybody? Where everybody at one time? Your boy Shay in the building. Who's rocking with me tonight? Let's get this let's get this new series started off right. As I knocked over my sugar-free soda. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up. As always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video everywhere they talking about Big Brother. Look, man, let's get into it. All right, check this out, man. So I'm gonna start trying to do what I like to refer to as Big Brother moments. Okay, we'll just pick random things that has happened in the house. Any season, doesn't matter what, just depends what we feel like talking about. And we'll do a quick dissection of what we watching. You feel what I'm saying? So, coming up first in our first episode, we got your boy Dan Giesling. Your boy Dan Giesling, the world famous funeral. Nobody's really ever talked about it too much. I've heard people reference it, and there's been people who've actually hit me and, you know, asking me exactly, you know, what the hell is the funeral. So we're gonna watch the funeral together, break it down, go from there. First things first, we can talk about kind of how the funeral came to be. So basically, Dan had got himself cornered. This is BB 14, I believe. Yes, with the coaches. So Dan pretty much got himself cornered, and with getting himself cornered, he needed to win the veto. He didn't win the veto, but in this competition, somehow he ended up with 24 hours of solitary, okay? So this solitary room was hell. It was just like Twilight Zone pinwheels just all over the room. It was some turntables in there, but with no records. It just had slip mats that had that spiral shit in the middle going all the way down. And so Dan could communicate with people in the house, but they would have to talk to him through the door. And if I'm not mistaken, it was lots of noise coming out from the bottom of the door or from the room, because it was like some loud like techno music or some shit, and it like never stopped or whatever. So Dan concocts this plan to come out of solitary and make himself seem like he's crazy and seem like he's lost his mind and he's checked out. And all he ended up doing was flipping the whole game on its head and pulling one of the most clutchest moves ever to not only save himself, but to pave his way for the final two. Because at the end of this, I'll never forget Dan being like, oh my God, if this works, I don't know how I can ever top this. And it's intricate. He pulls a lot of heartstrings, and a lot of people say it was a dirtball tactic, but hey man, we gotta do what we gotta do to win.
Welcome you guys all to my big brother funeral. I always joke that I'm gonna die early. Maybe it's just that this was for this moment. I also want to put you guys at ease. I'm here to, in a typical funeral, you guys would say nice things about me. I'm not a typical guy. I want to say nice things about all you and everything I got from you guys. So, stop crying, Brittany.
Laying it on thick with the tears already. First of all, for the record, I don't believe Dan for shit. None of these tears are real to me. Dan's just doing what Dan does, you know what I'm saying? So, let's continue.
So, just want to say a couple of things. Start with Chef Joe. Joe, obviously, you know, we kind of got off on a different level of eagle-eyedness, but being around you, you taught me a lot about how to be a good husband, how to be a good potential father, along with how to make Mad Love turkey burgers. And one of the best things about you is I walk in here, everyone knows I'm a 28-year-old kid. To see a 41-year-old kid in here means a lot, you know, and it just shows.
Dan is laying this shit on thick. I know this version seems kind of crappy in quality, but the reason I picked this version is quite simple. You need to see the whole thing. Like, they've always showed bits and pieces. They have never really showed how much Dan truly sold this.
That you're a little older, we're very similar, more than we even know. Next up, I'll go with Shane. You know, Shane's walking living proof there actually is a Captain America. He's such a good guy. You know, we've had a lot of talks about girls, and we've talked about some personal stuff. And I just want you to know that
the truth. Parker Brothers, Nap Town,
Yo, ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for price.
It's not a problem anymore. I'm trying to rob the city for at least 150. Now I'm riding to the core. Paranoid, the coppers knocking at my front door. Peeping out the window, watching with the Glock 44. Young Malcolm Little with a lot of weed in me. Got a plot for you snakes. Face it and breathe in me. Drain Henny till I'm sober again. Roll up a blunt and do it over again. I got some problems on my mind. A chip on my shoulder and a body on my nine. Trying to grind 100 million with a nickel and a dime. For every rhyme there's a riddle. In the middle every shine. Everybody carry nines. Let me run it down the line. I keep my mind on my money. Money in the safe. Before they run up in my place and flee the scene without a trace. Track a thing without the bass. I'm dying for a taste, so you know what time it is. Pump shot into your face.
Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up your pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for scouts. I just wanna run up in my spot, take what I got. Put me in the past when I was sleeping on the cot. If you make it past Athena and Zeus related rocks, I'ma get hot. Put the up beam on your knot to get your shot for stretching the truth. Running game, Apex and 4-5, and one and the same. Don't you know my fucking name? It's all in the door. Up the game, so that's in the fire, ready for war. Parker Brothers keep it raw. Raw's a geek, raw, and any faggot ass freestyle that you can spit. And fuck that shit. If you ready to blast, put the Cali in my face, aim steady and fast. It ain't hard. Disregard all the drama you heard. Put the balls in your hand, pull the trigger, you nerd. Like I thought you were fake, nigga. Trying to keep it real, but you missing your heart. It's all good, pass and steal. Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for Christ. Either get on the one, take it two to the three. If you ain't ready to ride, you ain't rolling with me. Lot on my mind, I'm swimming in stress. All these hate masters, give me the rest. Don't hate the next man for doing his thing, my nigga. The bottom line, we was born to be kings, my nigga. Throw up your hands if you're ready to ride. You can tell it's all real by the look in my eyes.
Yeah.
Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my
Metro D, Parker Brothers, the motherfucking truth.
You know what I'm saying? It's the motherfucking truth, yeah. Yeah, I'm nothing but the truth, so help me God, you know what I mean?
Parker Brothers.
Hey, get Metro D in here, just like that. Alright. Now, I was kind of, my voice is cracking, you know what I'm saying? But yo,
Let's do the back.
What's good? The boy who was an idiot is back. I was streaming about 7 minutes before I realized that I had the stream unlisted. Cause I was like, damn, man, only 2 people in here? Like, for real? Like, ain't nobody rocking with me like that tonight at all? Nope, I had it on private like an idiot. Who's in here? If you in here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure you probably already do. That's why you're here. But let all your other people know so that way they can do the same. Toxic, Bunny in the building. I ain't even started drinking yet. You would think I have. This would probably be my first time actually drinking on screen, but just a mild turn up before I get ready to go to the club tonight. Go have me a little bit of fun. Yeah, some of that apple Ciroc. And no, Diddy didn't pay me to say that. Actually, Diddy, you now owe me $15,000 for saying it on my pod. All right, man. Let's get into it. So, this is episode 1 of a new series, Big Brother Moments. We just gonna snatch any moment from any season, any house, And we're going to talk about that shit. And we're going to break it down in the way that only we know how to break it down. You know, because we students of the game around here. So, the first one I want to talk about is the infamous funeral of Dan. Oh, yes. Dan's funeral. Now, for those of you who aren't really familiar at how Dan's funeral came about, basically, in season 14, Dan basically got himself caught up in a situation where he was cornered. Veto just happened. He lost Veto. And he had to be in solitary for 24 hours. And the entire house wanted him gone. Jen, she won Veto. I believe Jen's Mexican, tattoos. She was the, token lesbian that year. And when I say token lesbian, I'm saying that's usually how they treat it. You know how it goes. So she won the Veto. And Dan could not figure out how he was going to get from out of this situation. Because anybody who's ever really watched Dan play, man, this is the difference between somebody like Dan and somebody like Cody. Cody lost the Veto and was like, man, fuck everybody. I'm going to eat this Honey Nut Chex until I go home. Dan is like, I'm not going home. I know I lost the Veto. I know everybody wants me out of the house, but I'm not going home. So what does Dan come up with? So while Dan's in solitary for 24 hours, he's in this room with all just black and white pinwheels, kind of like that Twilight Zone type shit. He's in there, okay? So while he's in there, he can talk to house guests, but it would have to be under the door. So he decides just to not talk to anyone, okay? And Dan ends up devising one of the most infamous plans in the entire history of Big Brother. The quality of this video ain't the best, but I'm leaving it this way because I want every other video that I found of this, it's like they give you the abridged version and they never really let you know how much Dan sold this. Because just listening to certain parts, you even question well, was he really faking? There's no possible way he could have been faking. You judge for yourself, man. I think I gave us enough to go on first. So let's roll, Dan. I think I went too far back. Hold on a second. Or too far forward.
Black for a reason. I want to welcome you guys all to my Big Brother funeral. I always joke that I'm going to die early. Maybe it's just that this was for this moment. Also want to put you guys at ease. I'm here to, in a typical funeral, you guys would say nice things about me. I'm not a typical guy. I want to say nice things about all you and everything I got from you guys. So, stop crying, Brittany.
So already, Dan already has Brittany on the hook and he knows it. That's why he calls her out. She's already getting ready to cry. Those of y'all that know Danielle, she's getting ready to cry. I mean, he's laying this shit on thick.
So, just want to say a couple of things. Start with Chef Joe. Joe, obviously, we kind of got off on a different level of ego-ness, but being around you, you taught me a lot about how to be a good husband, how to be a good potential father, along with how to make Mad Love turkey burgers. And one of the best things about you is
Dan is a master at making shit so personal that you're like, there's no way this dude is gonna lie to me. Like, come on, man. Remember that time we did the thing at the place? Yeah? That doesn't mean anything? I mean, it's just a game, man. I'm sorry. All of that shit was cool, but I don't give a fuck now.
I walk in here, everyone knows I'm a 28-year-old kid. It was to see a 41-year-old kid in here means a lot, and it just shows me that you're a little older, we're very similar, more than we even know.
Lay it on thick, Dan.
Next up, I'll go with Shane. You know, Shane's walking, living proof there actually is a Captain America. He's such a good guy. You know, we've had a lot of talks about girls, and we've talked about some personal stuff. And I just want you to know that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. So
Laying it on thick. What he's trying to do, look at his face right here. He's trying to keep from laughing at these idiots. Like, Jesus, like he's really laying this shit on so thick. You see Danielle down over here in the corner. You see what she's on, and Dan has. We threw the term puppet master around. We threw that shit around real loose last season. This is true puppet master right here. He's literally in front of them right now with a mock black suit on. You know, since he didn't pack a black suit. This is as close as he can get. Is this? And we haven't even gotten to, like, he's setting them up because he hasn't even gotten into the game part, because you're gonna like, well, how can he have any game talk in the middle of this? Just you wait and see.
you know that.
Like the video if you haven't.
I just wanted you to know that you're such a good dude. You're the type of guy I'd want you to date my sister.
Thank you.
And when you get out of here, there's going to be a girl that you don't even expect. She's going to be there for you, and you're not going to see her coming.
Shane's like, yep, I do be getting all the bitches, and I know what you mean. You absolutely right, Dan. See, Dan right now, stroking the egos. He already went and talked to Joe and told him, Joe, you the model man. I want to grow up to be just like you. I want to be just like you. I want to make the turkey burgers, and I want to be as good of a dad to my kids as you are to yours. And I've learned so much, and I'm nothing but the younger you. Now he turns to Shane. Oh, Shane, you're one of the most beautiful men to ever grace the face of the earth. You're just waiting for your perfect girl. You're proof there's a real thing as Captain America. Like, give me a fucking break. This is the part where me and Cuz got to look at each other and go, oh, yeah, we putting his ass on the block. And he's on the block. He got to go.
But I just appreciate our friendship, man. Next up, the one and only Jen City. I'd be lying if I sat here and told you at 28 years of age, if number one, well, let's put it this way, you're the first lesbian I ever met. But even...
First of all, Dan, you sound like an idiot being that old saying that she is the first lesbian you ever met. I'm pretty sure you've met other lesbians. You just didn't know it. They just didn't want to tell you. So on and so forth. But Jen City is not the first lesbian you've ever met. Continue.
Even more so than that, has nothing to do with you, or I'd be lying if I said I didn't have prejudices. When I see people with tattoos, I would never in my entire life thought how prejudiced I might have been towards someone like you.
Now it's the comeback kid story. Now I go to Jen City and it's like, man, you know, all these years I hated gay people. Gay people with tattoos? Yeah, right. There's no way I would ever. And then I met you and you changed me. Oh, powerful veto holder. You've made me realize that I didn't even know how prejudiced I was. And then to know you, get the fuck out of here, Dan.
But with every prejudice.
But you would think, who would lie like this? who would lie like this?
Every experience, I get a chance to wipe that away. And I love you for that. And we've shared some things until the end that I'll always cherish. And thank you for everything that you've done for me that you may not even understand.
Like use the veto.
And I can't wait to get out here, hear you rock it out on the day after the finale.
Appreciate it, man.
But you've opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I just want you to make sure that you know how much you've touched me and done that for me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up is Brittany. The newlyweds in the house.
You gonna tell me that this man didn't spend that 24 hours in solitary rehearsing these speeches? Is that what y'all gonna tell me? Okay.
I know at first you're very untrusting of me, and probably vice versa. But, you know, I've learned a lot about you beyond the stink eye and epic diary rooms that you're a really...
As much as I don't rock with Brittany, I gotta say, if you can pull some shit like this over Brittany, because Brittany had a knack for knowing what was going on. She couldn't act on it in any way, I felt. She always had to try to get somebody else to do it or some shit like that. So, he got Brittany.
Sweet girl, and that Ryan's extremely lucky to have you.
Thanks.
And there's a lot of people in this house that feel the same way about you that I do. And no matter what happens, I know that we're always going to have this bond that maybe only you and I understand as new people being married in this house and being separated from the people we love. But I always knew that whenever I got sad, you would be there to help me through it and vice versa. So I always appreciate that about you.
So we gonna act like we don't see Frank in this very touching moment, not sitting there with a damn carrot outfit on. Man, Big Brother, man, they known for putting a motherfucker in a messed up ass outfit going into some shit. They known for doing it.
Thanks, Dan.
Now,
Share this video. Let's get some people in here. Let's
the
get
last three are going to be a little bit tougher. Ian.
Oh, yeah, damn. Lay it on thick.
Someone say something funny.
Hey, can I fake cry? Are y'all gonna be mad at me if I fake cry in the Big Brother house?
Alright.
Can I fake cry?
Ian, when I first saw you in this game,
Now,
I thought,
fake cry,
you know,
I'm
you
not
might
gonna
be
make fake
a
cry
little evil
noise. I
guy.
have to do it like professional
And obviously,
fake cry.
you
Like, I
proved
have
everyone in this room
like, try
wrong.
to channel
Everyone here
something
knows
really
there's not a
sad
bad
and cry
bone in your
from that.
body, but I want you to know
Is that going too far?
that in this game, the more and more I was around you, the more you reminded me of myself. Because you love this place for everything it's worth. And
Ian played your stupid. I can't believe. I think Dan he really felt in his heart of hearts that like Ian was his son. Have you ever seen The Goods with Jeremy Piven? And like he was selling cars, and that one kid like was selling cars, and he like tried to do the math, and the kid never met his dad, and he thought he was his dad. Yeah, I think that's kind of how Dan played with Ian, because it was like, dude, get rid of his ass. Like, I mean, he was smarmy, and his smarmy ass won Big Brother. Yes, this motherfucker right here won Big Brother against the man, the myth, the legend.
And you
I like it. Toxic.
You single-handedly made this
That's all
experience
we
for
worried
me
about winning.
so much more fun.
Because this is all Dan's worried about. All Dan's worried about right here is winning $500,000. Y'all can hate me after this.
Because it takes a lot to understand how a brain like mine works. I'm just off the wall crazy.
Vouch. It takes a lot to understand how a brain like mine works.
And although I don't have the same ACT or SAT scores as you, our brains work the same way. We're here to have fun, mess around, and have a good time. And when it's all said and done, I remember the times with you the most, man. So, the one thing I want you to promise me, though, is that when I'm gone, you can't beat yourself up. You know, I know we talked about that a little bit.
And when I said see myself gone, and when I say see myself gone, I don't ever see myself gone. So Yeah, he did. He did try to get him out in the double eviction, but I felt it was too late then. Like I felt like when the Dan should have never went back to the Quack Pack. When they tried to bring the Quack Pack back, he should have really just stayed with Frank. Him and Frank could have went toe to toe all the way to the end. Frank would have been dumb enough to take Dan on some loyalty shit, and I don't see anybody giving it to Dan in that scenario if it's Frank versus Dan. I think Ian got a lot of sympathy shit because it was like, we let this 12-year-old somehow get all the way to the end. But Ian did a lot of shady shit, man. I give him that. He did some shady shit, but I'm the type of motherfucker, like, motherfuckers like Ian, I don't trust from Jump Street.
But the only person that can stop you is you. When you talk down on yourself, that's the only way you stop yourself. You're such a smart, bright, funny kid. Everyone likes you. You gotta stop that, man. You gotta make that promise to me. All right. All right. The guy in the carrot suit, Frank. We started out this game. We had so much in common. Everything from video games to television shows starring Daniel Day Kim on CBS. You know what I'm talking about. And of course, a passion for this game. When I heard your story on how you got on here, I mean, I directly connected with you for none other reason than that. If there's nothing else. And that means a lot to me because I know how bad you want to be in this game. And it's motivating and inspiring to me that even though in this game, no matter what happens, you'll always be my arch enemy, to know that someone like you.
You see what he's doing right here? Did anybody catch what Dan did right there? What Dan just did right there was very sneaky and artful. This is how he just played this, okay? He just set this up to put everybody at ease that, yes, even though I'm getting ready to apologize to Frank and me and Frank had all this in common, we arch enemies to the end. To the end. And Frank is HOH right now, so it's like, he's telling the HOH to his face, man, we arch enemies to the end.
Would go through all this to stay in this game, fight for your life. I mean, that's the kind of respect as a former winner. I don't give that out, but you will always have that, no matter what.
As a former winner, let me stroke your ego, Frank. Let me stroke your ego. Yeah, Frank, you one of the best ever. You're the best member of Chilltown there ever was. That carrot suit looks awesome on you. Man, Frank, you been working out? You want something to eat?
And there's a couple things I've said about you that I'm not proud of, whether out to someone else or in the diary room. And as a man, there's something in the Bible I want to read to you upstairs and apologize to you face to face in private. That was not the
Did you catch it right there? Listen again.
Time or place, but after or in the diary room. And as a man, there's something in the Bible I want to read to you upstairs and apologize to you face to face in private. Now is not the time or place, but after this I'd like to talk to you by yourself and just get that off the table, because
he just got a meeting, off the books meeting, okay? He just got an off the books meeting with Frank, the HOH. The person who is like this with the person that won the veto. The only person that can save Dan at this point. He just got the whole house to be okay with him having this meeting. Or this powwow with them. Oh, I'm going to read you something in the Bible. And I don't want to skip ahead, but like what he said when they got up there was beautiful, because he told them, I didn't bring this Bible up here to read. I brought this Bible up here to swear on. He got this man by himself without anyone questioning it. I said, because he was honest. I said a lot of bad shit about Frank. I said some bad shit in the diary room that's fucked up. Let me read you something out of the Bible upstairs in private, man to man, because don't nobody else need to hear this shit. It's just us. And everybody's like, God, Dan is a really, he's a really nice guy.
in this game, more so than before, I played so emotionally. And, you know, I said a lot of things and hurt a lot of people that I didn't mean to. And I got to clear some of that stuff up with you. So, you know, I hope we can talk after this.
So we gonna have that meeting for real, because I really want to cut a deal to use apologize to you for what I did.
And then, of course, finally, there's Danielle. And
here goes the shocker, and here's what turns the plan into such a genius, over-the-top plan. Because he's on the block next to Danielle. Danielle is the one he's been coaching. Danielle, everybody knows that if you can't get Dan, you get Danielle, right? So if Dan and Danielle on the block, so that means if Dan's on the block and Dan somehow weasel out of this, then that means, God, man, like Danielle's going to the house, right?
I guess before I get to Danielle, what I want to say is, please just do me one favor in this game. You guys know how much I love this game, and I just ask you, don't insult me. How would you insult me? You'll insult me if you come to me and initiate game talk. I understand everyone in this room wants me out, and I'm cool with it.
How can you insult me if you come up to me talking game? This is another check mark in the genius, greatest Hall of Fame plays of all time. So now he's got a meeting off the book with Frank. So if you even remotely was thinking about Frank and him having to talk, if you even had an inkling, he just quelched it even more by saying, don't insult me. How can you insult me? Don't come to me talking game. This shit's over. Don't come talking game to me. I ain't trying to hear it.
Just don't show me some respect and don't initiate game talk with me.
Ooh, and that's a key word he's using. Initiate. I'll talk that shit, but let me initiate it. So now, if he do it and somebody say he lied, well, I didn't lie. I said just don't initiate it. I initiated it, so what you mad at me for?
This is all said and done. This meeting, whatever, funeral, whatever you want to call it, I just want to enjoy it. I don't want it to be awkward. We're going to be fine.
Awkward.
So please don't do that. If you choose to ignore that and you want to talk game with me, it may sound crazy. I'm going to yell your name at the top of my lungs and say, stop talking game with me. Just please.
And he just said it, I'm telling. If you think I'm bullshitting, come up to me talking game. I'm going to yell your name loud so the whole house can hear it and then let you know to stop talking game. The boy Giesling, man.
Don't make me do that. I don't want to get into that.
And he's like, man, look, man, I'm begging you, don't make me do it. I don't want to blow your game up. I really don't. So just...
So then finally...
And as I sip from my soda...
No, there's Danielle. The last time I played this game, I learned a lot of tough lessons early on. And I learned, luckily early enough, that you got to find one person and put 100% of your trust in that. And I had that with Memphis Garrett. He's very underrated. I knew no matter what happened in this game, I could put 100% trust in him. He wouldn't do anything to hurt me intentionally.
Memphis is from season 10. Memphis was part of the shit with Ollie.
Intentionally or unintentionally, he always had my back. And when I saw you standing there day one, and you came to me, and I knew you wanted to be on my team, and I thought if I picked you, you would have similar qualities to Memphis Garrett. And through my own fault, I was wrong. We don't need to get into it now, but in this game, you'll never earn my trust back. You know what you did, and in this game, you're dead to me.
Wait, what just happened? Now, those that remember this season remember very well that that Dan, that was his minion. Like, he could get Danielle to get rid of her kids, her mama, her daddy, if she got a dude. Oh, if she had a dude, her dude long gone if Dan say so. So this is kind of like, I mean, this is almost like Jeff standing up. I mean, granted, they weren't together like Jeff and Jordan, but game-wise, they were like Jeff and Jordan as far as, you know, whatever Dan was doing, that's what she was rocking with. And for him to say that to her is, whoever, you know, for him to say that to her, that is extremely shocking. Let's hear it again.
So don't come to me. If I picked you, you would have similar qualities to Memphis Garrett. And through my own fault, I was wrong. We don't need to get into it now. But in this game, you'll never earn my trust back. You know what you did. And in this game, you're dead to me. So don't come to me and ask about it because it's over. But
how many people used to watch The Wire? The Wire. Oh, what's up, Nalania? Did I say that right? Nalani? I'm sorry. Love you too. I think this is the first time anybody's ever told me they love me in the chat. So I feel honored. And the dog too, I guess. But anybody remember the show The Wire? So on The Wire, there was a Detective McNulty. And anytime everybody get mad at him and say something, the fuck did I do? This is the look she has on her face right now. This is the icing on the cake of such a genius move. You get your arch enemy who's the head of household, who put you on the block and got you cornered with the veto. You got a meeting off the books with him. You tell everybody else that you don't want to talk game to, don't talk game to me. Because if you do, I'm going to bust you out, and I don't want to do that. So, that's 3 prongs. So you got the prong of getting the man with the power, meeting off the books. Nobody's going to be there but you and him. And everybody's cool with it. Nobody thinking wise. Okay. He's cool with the person who got the veto. And the third piece, he threw his own teammate under the bus. But not under the bus like that. He threw his own teammate under the bus in a scenario where it's like, I'm about to dog her so bad in front of everybody and say, fuck this bitch in front of everybody, that what is everybody in the house going to do? They're going to go stick to her. She's on the block next to Dan. So at this point, they take it Dan seriously. And what did Dan just do? Dan just saved not only himself, but his ace. It's beautiful, Dan. Beautiful, Giesling.
moving forward, what I want is we can all be friends. We'll hug it out. I want another poker tournament. I want to play billiards. I just all want us to be together.
First of all, anybody that say they want to play billiards is probably lying. Yeah, I'm playing billiards. You're probably lying.
We can be friends outside of this. I'll be friends with all of you. But the game talk for me ends now. So I hope you guys understand that this was the death of Dan the player. I want the rest of the experience to be fun for everyone and non-awkward. Thank you guys for listening to me. I love if we could group hug it out and I can talk to you after. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. I love you, man. Thanks, man. I love you.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
About Dan?
Dude.
Thanks, Rick. Good job.
Shane, you ain't slick. You ain't slick. Even though this is the funny part where she goes in there and she's like, do you want us all to come in there with you? No, I just want Shane. And what do I do? Cue up the victim noises. Hashtag victim noises in the chat. Where we at? They on the way. She can't even get the victim noises out. They're kind of paused. Mind you, Dan's like, hold on, wait. She's in there about to just like, she's in utter shock about to cry, and the way that Dan and Frank are casually walking up to the HOH for this off the books meeting that y'all all agreed to like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Thanks for hearing me out, man. I appreciate
Absolutely.
Let me say one thing. I think I accidentally closed the video. Let me say one thing right quick. Why did she just sit there frozen like that? This
Black
was
for a
like,
reason.
what did you do?
I want to
What
welcome
did
you
I
guys
do?
all to my big brother funeral.
Like,
I always
first
joke
of all, man,
that I'm going to die early.
Shane
Maybe it's
was
just
lame,
that
man.
this was
Anybody
for this
trying to
moment.
tell me Shane was just like
I'll
this
percent trust in him. Friends.
great
Well,
guy, like, I don't see this. Oh, I guess that was. So basically, what ends up happening from this is they go upstairs and they have this talk. As a matter of fact, I think I can find that video right there. Just have a second. I'll find that. That was
You didn't do anything.
because all he ended up doing now after that is he goes upstairs and after he goes upstairs, him and Frank have a talk, and he convinces Frank to go ahead and use get Gen City to use the veto on him, okay? And so by him doing that, he stayed. He was on the block. The whole house wanted him gone. And he not only made it so he had to go, he not only made it for that, but he saved his friend at the same time, who he went on to embarrass in the final 3 or in the final 4. And you're like, well, how did he do that? Well, okay, so this passes. Dan saves himself and her. Okay, they get to the end, and the final 4. The final 4 is Danielle, Shane, and Ian. Okay. Danielle's head of household, and she wins veto. Her plan is she wants to save Dan, or her plan is final 3 is gonna be her, Dan, and Shane. Dan's like, I can't fuck with Shane because if I'm up there with Shane, I'm gonna lose. So he convinces her to use the veto on him, which does what? That makes Ian go on the block, and that makes Dan also what? The deciding vote. So what Dan do with the deciding vote? He got up there and voted Shane out, embarrassed the shit out of Danielle, and Danielle was pissed. But the one thing that Dan said to her that made a lot of sense was like, I got you to the final 3. I made the decision that was better for us, aka me. So the boy Dan Giesling, man, he goes hard, man. Get in the comments. Let me know what moment we should do next, man. I have fun bringing up Dan's funeral, man. Dan is an all-time GOAT. Get in the comments, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Dan didn't win. Dan didn't win because I think that they just overvalued what Ian did. I think by him looking like this little kid, I think that warmed people's hearts. And then you have to add that to like people. We've, especially in the last couple seasons, we've seen it more than others. People are bitter. Sometimes people can't get over that shit, and you can't. And they don't have a straight criteria to what they vote on. I mean, they can sit and talk the votes all day, but if deep down your heart you want to vote against a motherfucker to be petty, you can do just that. So, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on Twitter at MetroD, Instagram at RAFootball, Facebook.com/BBLifeShay. Hit that Patreon link if you so choose to. Hey man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all want to do another one tomorrow night? If so, get in the comments. If so, hit me up on Twitter. If so, hit me on Instagram. If so, hit me on Facebook. You have no excuse not to hit your boy. Let's go. Big Brother Moments with Shay. I guess we'll do it tomorrow. Or maybe not. I'm probably lying.